Hi, I'm Denise O'Connell with Coldwell Banker Mountain Property and the Inside Scoop. And today I'm here with a familiar face about town, Jerry Groswold. Jerry, thanks for being here.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about the history of Winter Park Resort?
Winter Park's a unique animal and one that stands out from among its peers. It was created by a city, owned and operated by a city for a long period of time. There are other city-owned ski areas, but none of them have attained the world-class status that Winter Park has. Winter Park actually came into existence because of the vision of a fellow by the name of George Cramner, who in the mid-1930s was the manager of parks and improvements for the city of Denver. George knew the city would grow, that it would be populated by people who would be interested in recreating in the mountains, and he set about to provide that recreation. A large part of it consists of the Denver Mountain Parks program, which is some 14,000 acres of land that George acquired in Jefferson County through tax title sales. Several examples of it still exist today. The Buffalo Overlook at the top of Genesee, the Red Rocks Amphitheater, Bergen Park, Phileas Park. George also thought that it would be a good idea to see that the city had a ski area, and he came up with the idea of building an area at what was then called West Portal, the west end of the Moffett Tunnel. It had been identified as a potential site by the Forest Service, and George set about to build that area. He had a $30,000 grant and discovered that that would be enough to allow him to build the first lift, but he needed help cutting trails, and that came from volunteers, the CCC, WPA, and a bunch of volunteers who were interested in skiing coming out of the city of Denver. One of those volunteers was my father, and he drugged my brother and I along, and I was too little to swing an axe or hang on the end of a saw, so they gave me a bucket and a dipper, and I became the water boy, carrying water from the middle of Sales Trail over onto the lower Hughes Trail where they were clearing it. The city began the operation. It was officially dedicated January 28, 1940, and they ran it for 10 years, and it was reasonably successful, but it was falling into somewhat disrepair and needed a capital infusion. There was talk of closing it. A group of Denver citizens, led by Alan Phipps, went to the city, to the then Mayor Quig Newton, and said, "Don't close it. Let us create a nonprofit corporation, an independent agency for the city, similar to the Museum of Natural History or the Botanical Gardens. Let us take over the operation." That nonprofit corporation, made up of 15 volunteer trustees, came into existence, and they took over the operation in 1950.
What was your direct involvement with the operation of the group?
Out of the involvement first with as a water boy, in 1954 we formed a jumping program that used Sorensen Park, produced some national champions. In 1958 I went on to the board. In 1969 Alan retired as its chairman. I became chairman, and in 1975, while we were building the Mary Jane, I moved up and became president and CEO. I retired in 1997.
And what was the vision with the culture that you've created at this point?
Well, the culture came off of sort of two basic premises, if you will. First, we had the idea that we don't have customers. We have guests, and we encouraged our employees at the area and the people in the community to treat people as guests, treat them the way you would like to be treated when you're on vacation. And that created a culture that I think still exists today. It was sort of built on the premise of a phrase that says that people go to Aspen to look, to Vail to be seen, and they come to Winter Park to ski and have fun.
Wow, that's an amazing story. And with some of the culture that you created, one of the other programs that's really phenomenal is the NSCD and some of the volunteers with the patrollers, correct?
Yeah, the NSCD is a program that is unique literally in the world. It is the world's largest recreation rehabilitation program. They'll teach 25,000 lessons a year, deal with 3,500 individuals, but they do that with over 1,000 volunteers. The area also has one of the few, maybe the only, integrated ski patrol where they use professional paid patrolmen skiing and working alongside of volunteers. So with the volunteerism of the Winter Park Board, the volunteerism in places like the NSCD and the patrol, volunteerism and the dedication to providing a unique opportunity for our visitors has permeated the entire community.
Wow, that's an amazing story. We're very fortunate to have Jerry Groswold and the effort that he's put in for the development of Winter Park Resort, as well as his philanthropists around town and his historian background. So I'm Denise O'Connell with the Inside Scoop. Jerry, thanks again for coming. That was just delightful.
My pleasure.
Thank you.